That is correct. You are listening to the Galactic Coast Power Hour here on Vinyl Draft Radio. We're coming to you from the top floor of the historic Gemini building, and we're in the ACU of Texas studio. And I'm John Ennis. I'm here with my brother in brew, Muddy Mike Taylor.
Yo, yo.
But enough about us. We're really excited about our guest. We have Danny Balli.
Good one.
From Iron Keel Strength. And we're going to talk about Iron Keel Strength in a little bit. But one of the reasons we have you in the studio today is your background, your story as a deep water saturation diver.
Aquanaut,
yeah. Living deep underwater, maybe even as much as 30 days or more at a time, doing construction. So for those who've never heard of a saturation diver, and I'll admit before I met you for the first time, I wasn't familiar with the term. What is a saturation diver?
Basically, it's a difference between a surface diver and a saturation diver. Because whenever you're a saturation diver, you live in a decompression chamber. They basically pressurize you to a certain depth and leave you at that depth, and you stay there for the duration of the job. So 30, 40 days, it doesn't matter how long you're down there because your body's completely saturated. They take the nitrogen out of what we breathe, and then they put helium in because the deeper you go, oxygen becomes toxic. So they have to decrease the oxygen.
So what you're telling me is everybody's voice is really funny?
Yes, it is funny. It's just like we sound like Donald Duck.
So how does the crew that you're talking to that's above water, how do they not like crack up every time someone's saying something? Well, especially for the first time, some hey, we got a need.
Well, the weird thing is you just kind of get used to the most weird part about it is whenever you decompress and you start breathing air again and you hear your regular voice after 30 days of talking like Donald Duck, you're just like, whoa, I sound weird. And it's just like, oh, wait, that's my adorable voice.
Wow. So I've heard, a lot of people describe it as probably one of the most dangerous jobs out there. Also, probably the closest thing to living up in space, being deep underwater for extended periods of time, cramped quarters. I mean, what's that like?
Mm-hmm. It's definitely a different experience, and it takes a different type of person to actually be able to do it. It's just like we're probably the smartest dumb people you'll ever meet because we're dumb enough to do the job, but yet smart enough to actually get it done. So,
okay, did John tell you there was going to be a challenge? That you were gonna have to compete in a challenge today.
The Galactic Coast Challenge? We're already bringing that up?
No. Okay. I just want to know if he's prepared.
I don't know. I'm excited. You say challenge, and I'm just like at the tip of my chair.
This guy, I see it, man.
Yeah,
I'm just like, all right, challenge. Let's go.
You're fit and you got to stay fit, right? You got to stay ready to go, right? You're a diver. You got to.
Kind of yes, kind of no, because we do have dive physicals.
So the less oxygen your body needs if you're fit, though, right? If you're super fit, it's like you're better suited to the environment, though, right? I mean,
it definitely helps. I will agree with that, but there's a lot of divers that don't follow the regimen.
Sure.
But it's pretty physically taxing work, right? Because you're doing. I think you, at least in your case, you're doing like heavy construction underwater.
Right.
So you're basically on the floor of the ocean. Removing or installing stuff?
Right, like pipelines. We connect the pipelines on to the platforms, run the clamps up, so that way we can run the pipelines into the platform. So we basically tie the pipelines into the platform.
I always wondered how that works.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
it doesn't just
so now we know.
There's not just robots that go do that. Right? Your cell phone won't do that? There's not an app for that? Really?
There should be.
Yeah, so all of us driving cars should be like... we don't need pipes in the ocean, right? No pipes in the ocean.
Well, hey, now the cars are
you don't
electric,
like gas,
so.
Huh? Yeah, but you still it's still getting it somewhere. But anyway, so you go on the floor. What kind of depths are we talking about?
Basically, most of the systems that I was in were capable of about 1,000 feet.
Wow!
Right?
Wow, that's crazy. Mm-hmm. So that's 1/5 of a mile down below the water.
Takes a long time to get there.
Wow! Gosh. So there's got to be something to coming back up, right? I've heard about the bends. I've seen like near-death shows where people get in airplanes after diving and the atmospheric changes.
With saturation diving, it doesn't, because what happens is once you get back in the diving bell, you seal it up and it stays at whatever pressure you're diving at.
Really?
Yeah, so you live at that pressure.
So you don't feel the helium as much as it just affects your voice, right? That's it? It just affects your voice?
Sometimes it's a little bit harder to breathe.
You get a little headache in the back? Or?
Nah, nothing like that. I mean, it's just... especially the deeper you
go.
go.
Don't take these side effects. If you feel
exactly,
if you feel a tingling in your back of your head, pass out and die, please inform your doctor
or your bell partner.
Or your bell partner.
Most importantly,
please chain yourself to your buddy.
I guess the buddy system is pretty key down there, right?
Oh well, yeah, it's definitely. I mean, it's the most important thing because it's if you're the bellman, anything happens, then
what's a bellman?
That's the person because. A lot of times we dive 3-man. Usually we dive 2-man. And what will happen is whenever you're in saturation, you'll go out and you'll lock out. You'll go dive for 5 hours. Come in. You go in a 2-man team. So you're diving for 5 hours. You come back, and then the bellman goes down. He'll dive for 5 hours, and then you're the bellman.
You're the bellman. Wow. Okay. Right. So it's a reciprocating type environment there.
Right.
You're just there to watch each other's butt, right?
Well,
you're basically brothers, right? I mean,
and you're also managing the gas pressures and stuff like that.
Sure. Yeah, you're working.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if I'd go that far. You're reading and trying to stay awake.
Because you just dove.
Right. Yeah. It's just like 5 hours of just.
So is that the designation? The bellman is the guy who goes first?
No, the diver 1 is the guy that'll go first, and bellman's usually diver 2.
The guy who stays. Yeah. That's what I meant. I'm sorry.
Right.
So he's the one that stays behind. He's the first one in the bell. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Okay, interesting.
Well, I mean, if you're diving for 5 hours at a time, that requires, because you're swimming around, that's got to be a physical toll, right?
It beats the hell out of you.
It's got to,
It's just like even, because a lot of times, a lot of the rotations I worked, it was 6 weeks on, 4 weeks off. Those first 2 lockouts are just, you come back and you have no problem sleeping. That's for sure. You come back, you eat, and you're out.
Wow.
So there's no, I got insomnia because I'm thinking about...
No.
So really, you're living in the moment as soon as you get in that bell, right? It's life or death. Actually, as soon as you pierce the surface of the water, you're in basically survival mode, right?
Actually, no. It's the minute they get the seal on the chamber.
Bam.
Because it's, if you get a fire in there or anything,
you're fucked.
Oh, yeah, big time. I remember one time coming back off of a bell run, and I was the first one to take a shower. And I'm taking a shower, and the ECU, which is the environmental control unit, was right underneath the hatch for me to get back from what we call the transfer lock. But for me to be able to get back into the system, which we take showers in the transfer lock also, I'm taking a shower, and the ECU starts sparking up.
But so I'm sorry, real quick. You take a shower in the transfer lock because you can evacuate the transfer lock?
No, just because we're really cramped for space.
You're ready to, so it's an alternative.
Right.
It's got a drain in it, boom, you go.
Well, and it's in a separate chamber, and you really don't want to take
because
a shower.
that's in between 2 spaces, right? The dive space and the living space, there's the transfer space, right?
Right, and that's why it's called a transfer lock, because you're transferring from the living space into the diving bell.
Sure, so you can shower there. That's probably... I don't know. It sounds like the easiest place to do it to me.
Well, yeah.
Boom, you enter in, you're clean, you're ready to go, right?
Right, yeah, exactly. But, on this specific time, I'm sitting there and I'm showering, and all of a sudden the ECU starts sparking out at me.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So you're thinking the rest of the shower is going to be in the dark, right?
No, I'm thinking I might get
Shower's
set on
over.
fire very
Shower's
quick.
over.
Nice.
Nice. And I had to it's funny because it's like I pulled open the hatch and I had to dive over the sparking ECU unit, and then I slammed the door, and I'm just sitting there naked, and there's 3 other guys in the SAT system, and they're just like, okay, we have rules.
So how many square feet? I mean, it's pretty cramped quarters, right?
Square feet, I probably
or
couldn't
square inches. I mean,
really, it is square inches because
Wow.
there's not a whole lot of room to walk around. I mean, some of the SAT systems I've been in, guys couldn't even stand all the way up in.
Right. The transfer shouldn't be more than, what, 2 feet by 2 feet or something?
No, the transfer lock is probably one of the bigger areas, and it changes from system to system.
Oh, because you might have multiple divers coming back in, right?
Right.
So the next area is more like a hallway, and that's where everybody was?
Well, no, the Europeans actually take care of their divers way more than the Americans. And
really?
I hope people that own American dive companies heard that.
Right.
We need room.
Well, I was doing a little research, and I asked you before the show about the time, time underwater versus, like, I guess it was some of the European rules. I think they have to take so many long breaks after they go down for a while. Whereas you were telling me that wasn't necessarily the case in your situation.
No, I mean, there's been times where I've went and done 40-plus day SAT jobs where you don't see the sun for 40-plus days, and then we go and, I'll be home for a week, and they'll be like, we got another SAT job for you. And it's just like,
Go. It's we call that feast and famine.
Right. Well, no, and that's exactly what the commercial dive industry is it's either feast or famine. I mean, whenever it's good with the oil field, everything just booms.
Right.
Whenever it's bad, it's just like...
Unfortunately, that's fed by our political climate, too.
It really is.
Absolutely. It's absolutely fed by our political... And that is such a travesty that's the way it is. It really is.
It hasn't recovered from the moratorium.
No,
I mean, that moratorium just basically sat us on our heads. I mean, that's basically how I ended up in the gym industry instead of the dive industry.
Nice. So that's right. John says you own a gym.
Yes. I own Iron Keel Strength in Webster, Texas.
You don't look near fit enough. Lie.
I was just like, no, I don't. It's funny. It's like now that I own a gym, I probably work out less than I ever have before.
No, man, you're putting up the weights. I know you're still working out, right? I mean, you got to clear everybody's stuff because no one does their own. I don't know. So tell me about Iron Keel.
Iron Keel Strength, we're basically Swiss Army knife at gyms. We do have a CrossFit gym that works out of our facility, so we have mainland CrossFit working out of our facility also. And then we also do a lot of sports performance training. So, I mean, we worked with a D1 basketball player over the summer, and then
someone gets there 40 times faster, they come to you to
exactly
to refine the training, get the training to
But we also, I mean...
It sounded loud.
Oh. No, actually, I did kind of sound bad.
It sounded loud.
And you're working with the local rugby group, right?
Yes. We are working with Bay Area Rugby Club, and...
Oh, that's where Christian used to hang out. Yeah, he used to hang out with those guys.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun. Yeah, it's just like we have their end of the season banquet coming up this Saturday, and I'm just like, my liver's going to hurt.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
They know how to dehydrate.
They're serious about it.
Yeah.
I think we sponsored that event one year.
Oh, the
Galactic Coast.
Galactic Coast. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Dr.
Boom.
Nick. Dr. Nick. It was Dr. Nick, I believe.
Dr. Nick.
Yeah.
So, Mike, we have about a minute 20 left, and we're gonna get back to the fitness thing because a little tease: fitness. Your level of fitness actually saved your life as a diver.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say enough about it, to be honest with you.
So that's a tease. Now, what are we drinking, Mike?
This is experimental barley wine. Or possibly double IPA. I don't know. It's an imperial double IPA that winds up to be a barley wine, is what it is.
So what else in here?
18 pounds of malt and around 8 ounces of highly, highly toxic hops. Both dried. Hops added in probably 4 stages of the brewing.
Okay.
Right? And...
that was on the G-Brew, the pilot system?
It was to get the pilot system back up and running. It was the first brew. I figured I'd go big. I took a chance. I did my math, and this is what we came up with. And my cooler would barely hold the grains, so it need a bigger cooler.
Came out righteous.
And do we decide on a name?
Imperial Galactic Hop Transporter, which is eight.
Eight.
It's eight.
Eight.
Hey, man, you got any more eight?
And Mighty Mike Taylor.
That is right.